Hello and welcome to a cold and blustery day here in beautiful Nova Scotia. The balmy, nearly balmy, double-digit t-shirt weather of last week has been replaced by a howling gale today, and very, very cold howling gale at that. So excuse the noise every now and then when the wind blows itself up. But that's not going to stop me doing the things I need to do, although I'm not really going to do the things I need to do outside. Fortunately, as usual, I've got the greenhouse to work in, and as you can see, things are going on apace with all the seedlings along the side here. Lots of different things, some flowers, some broccoli and onions, etc. And in the main raised bed now, I've actually got some lettuce growing in there, and it's started to perk up when I cover it every night with the fleece. Keeps it nice and warm, tuck it in, and it's starting to respond. All the different types of lettuce I've got in there, and even some spinach that I sowed seed a week or so ago. It's started to pop its head up as well, so that's good for the next a few weeks time. And obviously the bed that I had growing over winter with Asian greens, some coriander, rocket, some kale and lettuce has now started to definitely perk itself up and started to produce some nice bit of growth that I've started to harvest. In between that and my new sort of leaves I've got in the main bed, and up on top, all my other seedlings are growing away nicely, which is good. Spring is here, even if it's only tentative little steps here in Nova Scotia anyway. But as I said, seedlings are growing along nicely, and I thought I'd do a bit of a double take today. I thought I'd sow some tomato seeds, even though I've sowed lots of tomato seeds already. I thought I'd show you my sowing of seeds anyway. And I've also got all these different tomatoes here: Peace Vine, San Marzano, Scotia, F1 Cherry, growing away nicely, and some of them are starting to produce their first set of true leaves, and I want to pot some of them up. Now you might think, well, they're not very big to be potting up, Steve, but this mix that I've got in here is, is just leaf mould, which is great for the seeds to germinate, etc. But they've been in here about a month now, and really I want to start to give the roots something to get its teeth into. So I've got some, decent potting compost here that I'm going to pot up some, at least the Scotia, I think. And they're starting to get, there's a few here crowded, and they're not going to grow on nicely when they're crowded like that. So better to pot them up into this one here, and they'll have a nice bit of depth to grow into until I may need to pop them up again before into probably pots like this in a few weeks' time. But let's start with some seeds, shall we? Like I said, I've got quite a few here, but I'm getting a few clients coming through with consults, etc., of my new kitchen garden design business. So they may need some tomatoes when they're creating their new beds, etc. So it's good to have some extras. Plus, I like to give a few out to friends around here. It's always nice. So it's always good to have a bit of extra. So I'm going to sow some other ones. Now, where are they? I've got some cherry Roma. Can never have enough cherry tomatoes anyway. So I've got some cherry Roma here. I'm just going to pot them up. And I've got any sort of mix really, but I've got my sort of mix of leaf mould, and I've got some potting compost mixed in there as well, like, just to give it a bit of extra. Here's my little pusher downer. I like to keep things nice, firm, but not too firm. So there we are. And what I also like to do as well is give it a quick water. Let that drain down a sec. There we are, just make sure that's firm. Right, where's my seeds? So, as you can see here, I'm not sowing them too thickly here, because at the end of the day you're only going to waste them if you sow them too thickly, and they don't want to be, you know, competing for air and light, etc. So there's not many left in here, but that's okay. You know, small enough, as you can see. Now, can you guys see this? I'll put them in. I'm just going to scatter these. These ones I've made rows, but these ones there's not that many, so I think I'll scatter them, which is okay. Nice and simple. There's not a lot to this sowing lark. People get a bit scared about it and a bit, you know, tentative, but push the seeds down just so they've got a nice contact with the earth, and then all we've got to do is scatter a little bit on top just to cover them, not too much, you know, a couple of mil. Ooh. Now just firm that top bit down, just a touch. That's it, you can't see them. Now, they put these in a nice warm light place. Doesn't have to be in direct sunlight, you know, on a windowsill. Something this size will go easily on a windowsill anyway, but I'm going to put it in my new patented hotbed greenhouse, little mini greenhouse over there. It's working actual wonders, so I'm pleased with that. So I'll put that there in a minute, and that's it. In about 10 days, hopefully they'll germinate, and we'll leave them in that mix until their first true leaves sort of start to come out. Because I've got a mix of compost in there, I'll leave them to sort of get a good size, and there's not that many in there, so they're not competing. Whereas these ones here, as I said, I'm going to start moving them out of this mix into potting them up into this mix here now. And again, this is nothing particularly complicated either. I'm using my pencil, or a pencil, or you can use a little stick or anything like that. And all I'm going to do, get my finger, let's get it a bit closer, shall we? So all I'm going to do is get it nice underneath and loosen it out a bit, and then keeping my fingers, we don't want to be touching the stem at all. Just loosen it out, and there you can see a little bit of root in there. That's good. Bring that to the side. I'll take a few out while I'm here. Nice and gentle. But you don't have to be scared of them. Just lever them out. So no pulling, rather levering from the bottom and just using this, your top hand on the leaves as a steadying bit. Right, so I've got a few out there. And all I'm going to do here is make a nice hole deep enough for them to go in. Right, now, the thing with tomatoes, as you can hopefully see there, small hairs all the way down the stem. Those, the thing with tomatoes and all the Solanaceae family is they can produce roots all the way up that stem there, up to that leaf. So what we want to do, I'm going to chop the sides of this off, is plant this deep, just so these top leaves are above the surface there. See that? So all of that stem is buried in. Let's do that again. Give them a nice distance apart. And I'm just made a nice big enough hole. Push that down. So now all of that buried stem has got a chance to produce roots out there. The more roots, obviously, the more it can feed, the more it can build itself up. And then when we pot it up again, we'll bury it down again. If there's any more sort of stem up there, we'll bury it root down all the way to that sort of bottom leaf again. Let's do another one. Ooh, distance. That'll do. In fact, I want a bit more distance. I'm going to do 3 in a row. There we go. Nice and deep. Just firm it round it, you know, not too much, but just make sure it's nice and firm. Right, I'm going to carry on along here, and I'll be back when I filled it up. See you in a minute. There we go, nice and easy. What have I got there? I've decided to go 4 across on here. I thought there was enough room, they're small enough for that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 across, so 20 there. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. What did I say? 20. 27. So 27 scotia plants. I think that's enough. Like I said, I'll give some of these away to people, etc. But nice and easy. So now, as I said, planting them nice and deep. Those stems will produce roots, making them nice and stronger, giving them more chance to feed and pull in the nutrients. And these will be in here now probably for another month or so before I pot them up again. Obviously, we won't be potting these, planting these up outside until the last frost, which here is after the first week in June. But the greenhouse, I'm looking to be planting quite a few tomatoes and peppers, etc. in the greenhouse this year, and the greenhouse down the bottom, but this one especially, so I've got lots of room for that, and pots as well, which excellent. So 27 plants potted up. I need to find some new trays for some of these tomatoes, but I reckon job's a good one.